Souls games have become a phenomenon in gaming, so much so that it has become a genre in and of itself. All the Souls-like games try to achieve what FromSoftware has achieved with its great bosses, combat mechanics, and parkour system. But not all of them have been a success like Dark Souls 2. I mean, that game is the peak of FromSoftware. Just saying it makes me want to puke. Apart from that, I think almost all the other ones have been great, so ranking these games might be a bit hard. I just want to clear one thing, that it's just my opinion. You can disagree with me and that's totally fine. Let me know in the comments why you think I'm wrong. For now, let's get started. Let's get Dark Souls 2 out of the way. This has to be one of the worst Dark Souls game ever, and that has to be a unanimous decision. It's in the C tier for me. Everyone talks about this game being the worst one yet, but why is that? First, the game was not directed by Miyazaki. While there are a ton of games that Miyazaki didn't oversee, but we still love them. But the Souls-like genre is his bread and butter. You can see where the team falls off. Like the gameplay mechanics that were changed from the first game was so awful. You lose max HP when you die. Why would anyone think that it's a good idea? Equipment degrades much faster than DS1, and not to mention the terrible hitboxes that were in the game. There are so many reasons that I could make a whole video out of it. And the worst part is that it was my first Souls game. I heard somewhere that Miyazaki always questions, is this reasonable for the level they designed? Not is it too hard. The devs for Dark Souls 2 made it with the intention of making the game too hard. No iframes when opening a door or pulling a lever is a great example. You will die most of the time, not because you are bad or made a mistake. You will die because it was simply designed to kill you. That being said, the bosses were very easy compared to other Souls games. Even I managed to beat some of them on my first try, when it was my first time playing a Souls game. Okay, I got all my frustrations out of the way. Now let's talk about the positives of the game. Dark Souls 1, or the original Dark Souls, is one of my favorites of the series. I did not start with this game, I started with Dark Souls 2, but this game made me regain my trust back in the series. It was the first game in the series and felt like FromSoftware put so much effort into it. The game was hard. It was definitely not one of those games that you can cruise through. Bear in mind that I was still new to the genre and I didn't necessarily play games like this before. The games I played back then were mostly Counter-Strike and GTA. I remember that finding a bonfire was a victory in and of itself. The controls didn't help either, because I played the game recently and now I know why I died so many times. After playing Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3, I can clearly see the controls for Dark Souls 1 were very janky. The movement now feels weird and even the combat felt sluggish. But back then, all of those complaints were not really the issue because no other games were of the same genre as this one. The path leading up to the boss room was the real problem. There were so many enemies and they killed me more than the boss itself. Also, why is there such a long path from the bonfire to the boss room? When I played the game again after Elden Ring, I got so frustrated. While there are a lot of things I would want to change, this game was the reason why we all have the other Souls and different Souls-like games today. The game was a turning point for me in the sense that now I wanted more challenges from games. After completing Dark Souls 1, I wanted to face more hard bosses. I wanted more games to give me that sort of adrenaline rush. And because of that, I put Dark Souls 1 as A tier. It might be high because of nostalgia or the fact that it was the reason why we all have Souls and Souls-like games, but I don't care. Elden Ring has to be one of my favorite Souls games ever. The first open-world Souls game which brought in so many new fans of the genre. The game is massive. It had like 165 bosses when it was released, and with the DLC it had more than 200 I believe. Most of them are repeated characters, which was an issue for many players, but I didn't mind. What I was mad about was that they made such an improvement from Dark Souls 3 and they still couldn't figure out how to make duo bosses fun. I don't think there is a single duo boss in FromSoftware's history that is fun to play, but the reason why people really loved this game was because it was open world. A boss is too difficult for you? Well, ignore it and go do something else. I say that, but I have wasted over 4 hours fighting the Tree Sentinel. The world looks gorgeous and there are so many hidden areas that I'm sure so many people would have missed in their first playthrough. The hardest boss in the game is missable if you don't really explore the whole world, but exploring too much will make you near impossible to kill, and that's what makes it easiest Souls game too. The difficulty of this game is what you would like it to be. If you want it to be tough, don't go around killing everything you see. If you want to cruise through, explore the whole area area, and eventually you will become strong enough to one-shot bosses. The map is huge too. If you ignore the underground areas, the game will still take several hours to complete. With the underground included, it can take 100+ hours. While all of this is good, the game is massive and doing everything all over again is tedious, and although I had fun, got bored after playing it twice. The replayability factor for me is a little low. The DS games were very small compared to this game, and even the areas where you can explore were not that big, which makes it a better replayable game in my opinion. Nonetheless, this game is still one of the best FromSoftware games, and I would rank it as A tier. Next we have Sekiro. Now hear me out. I did not really enjoy Sekiro. I may be in the minority here, but something just didn't click with me. The combat style was fun but not addicting. The way you could use different tactics with different bosses, like in other Souls game, felt better to me. But don't get me wrong, this was a great game. When it came out, I played it a lot. But the fact that I haven't touched the game for like 4 years seems to say a lot. Also, this might be one of the hardest Souls games, and the last fight with the Ishin guy, man was that a struggle for me. That might just be a skill issue though, as I have seen so many videos of people just styling on him, like he's just a beginner holding a blade for the first time. Regardless though, the hitting of swords, the parrying, and the execute animations look so smooth and good. And FromSoftware went a completely different direction and tried to do something that they have never tried before. Making a game like Sekiro is such a good feat for them. It even won Game of the Year for that year, which is a pretty big achievement. The combat was what led me to not really like this game, and so I'm ranking this a B tier. Not too bad because there are some great things about it, but I'm more biased about the other Souls games. Dark Souls 3 might be the best one of the trilogy. They improved everything from their previous title, and I love the way the character moved and attacked in this game. The animations were so much better, the hitboxes were improved, and the overall feel of the game was great. Looking back, Dark Souls 3 seems like an odd entry to the series. There were no new weapon changes and broken game mechanics like Dark Souls 2. Neither did it have an eerie and creepy setting of Bloodborne. It was a perfect successor to the original, only with some much needed improvements. I am of course talking about the Cursed Frogs. They streamlined the game, made it smoother and much more playable. I haven't talked about it, but the environment of Dark Souls 2 never really made sense. But what they created with Dark Souls 3 was great, and it also connected the overall story of the series, another one of the complaints for DS2. And this game was hard. While the bosses were a cut above DS2, the minions were just as deadly. I believe that this was the first game to combine both poise and hyper armor system in a single game, making heavy weapons more viable while running through the different sections. And the combat felt more like Bloodborne, fast and fun. Graphically too, it was miles ahead of its predecessors at that time. While all of that make it seem like the perfect game ever created, it still had some flaws. The main flaw is the story. It tried to appeal to the DS1 fans while still incorporating some of the DS2 lore. This made it seem very bland and forgettable. The game is also very linear. You would need to wait almost till the end to build your ultimate build, as there is no other way to obtain it otherwise. They also made rolling super OP in this game for some reason, as you almost become invincible just rolling around. And finally, they tried to make each boss the most epic boss, which had an opposite effect. After watching a few of them, it felt like they were doing too much. That said, I would still go back to this game time and time again and have so much fun. I would still put this in A tier. I'm just going to say it, Bloodborne is the only S tier on this list for me. First, let's talk about the weapon for this game. While Elden Ring has more than 200 weapons in so many different categories, most of them feel the same. Doesn't matter if you have two different greatswords, both of them most likely feel the same. While in Bloodborne, the weapon choices are far less, but most of them feel quite unique. The weapons have more animations and blend in quite well, making them more put together and natural. The trick transformations are the best part about it. You can have a straight sword, which can turn into a giant hammer, an axe that extends to a polearm, all of which just makes it more unique and fun. While there are two-handed weapons in other Souls games, it doesn't hit the mark quite as well as Bloodborne's system. The environment has a mixed reaction from people, but I really like it. While most of the areas have almost the same look, it makes it seem cohesive, and along with the amazing amazing music and sound design of this game, it takes the immersiveness to a whole new level. It also has a fast-paced Souls-like combat which was pretty new. It encourages the player to be more aggressive. Even now, the best way to play a Souls game is either to be a mage or just equip a shield. It makes the difficulty of the game non-existent. But in Bloodborne, you can't really do that. I mean, you can with the 2 shields in the game, but it was not designed to be used here. You get your health back by hitting an enemy, making the players play more aggressively. The rally system, as they call it, was such a good addition that I thought it should have been implemented in other games as well, but that might not be lore accurate. As I said, this game for me deserves an S tier. Demon's Souls is another one of the quote-unquote unsuccessful title from FromSoftware. People really dislike this one as much as TS2. Well, maybe not quite as much because this game didn't really have many people buying it. Demon's Souls was an overall mid-game in my opinion, and I don't really plan to go back to it, at least anytime soon. The reason why I don't like this game is mainly because of the decisions they made with the way the player progressed through different playstyles. Some weapons are simply better than others, and some weapons are so incredibly bad that it makes it almost unplayable. There are more weapons than Bloodborne, but all the weapons apart from a few feels like a copy-paste. They are so bland and not fun to use, and I have no idea why they thought having gender-specific armor would be nice. It's not like they have thousands of them that people won't mind picking it up and feeling like, that's fine, I have enough already, I won't mind not getting to wear this one. Having said that, the game did come out in 2009 and it was the first Soulsborne game FromSoftware created. We should cut them some slack here. This game walked so that Dark Souls could run. The things that they implemented in this game changed the scene of one of the most fun modern genres, and I have to give them props for that. And I had fun playing the remastered version for my first playthrough. As I said, I won't really go back to it. I was still glad to see the roots from where the genre started, and because of that, I would give it a C tier. And those were all the Soulsborne games ranked. Let me know which one do you disagree on. I know many people would have different opinions on different titles, and I won't mind hearing them out. Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed, hit the like and subscribe button. Also, if you want to know what are the best FPS games coming out in 2025, watch this video on your screen. See you in the next one.